That's great because I was afraid my first pick was going to be gone. Is this it?
This is it.
So the first pick in the he's him or I'm him. Does it matter?
I'm him. I'm him.
I'm him.
I will take Ubaldo Jimenez.
Oh, that's good. He's got it in his name.
Okay.
Unbelievable couple seasons there with the Rockies.
Okay. Good pick. That's a good pick.
Right. Yeah. Welcome. Thanks for braving the internet of the Hotels of America. And I just wanted to kick it off with this. Somebody asked me offline about a controversial opinion, and I said I think I do have one that's pretty fitting. I don't like the movie Leon. I think the movie Leon's overrated. The Professional. And when I did that bit, it's not a bit, it's how I feel. One of the first text messages I got was from Ryen Russillo. Like, really?
Yeah, real disappointed, but I know you well enough. You're a hard marker. When it comes to the arts and people, you're very judgmental. And
not anymore, Ryan. Not anymore. I don't judge people.
Look, The Professional was just a weird story for me personally because when I was in college when it came out and it was billed as this like action-packed thriller, the trailers are crazy. Like, I think I've talked to you about this before, but it said twice as fast as Speed. So a bunch of us were back on break and I used to not want to go back. Right. I used to not want to go back to the vineyard. So I would stay in like the South Shore a couple of nights. I'd sneak in a couple extra nights and then, I'd hang out like a normal kid with like movie theaters and malls and stuff. And we all buddied up and like rolled to go see The Professional. And I don't know, 20 minutes in, we're like, this is the worst movie ever. And then at the end, we're going, man, what an absolute 180, an artsy film noir deal. Gary Oldman's awesome in it. I love that movie. So yeah, sorry.
Oh, Gary Oldman was so over the top. I mean, and no, I think a lot of it was the young girl part. For me, and also, some of the plot holes, she's just walking through the apartment complex. There's 100 DEA agents out there, FBI people, and they're like, oh, little girl. Like, there was no follow-up. There were 4 people in the house. 3 of them got murdered. Where's the little girl? Oh, she lives down the hall with a petter ass.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, they didn't actually date in real life, so I know that part bothered you a lot.
Yeah, but the fucking director of the movie, I did a little reading. He met his wife when she was like 12. And supposedly was inspired. No, he was like 23. It was inspired by Luc Besson. It was admittedly, I think, inspired by his relationship with his wife. Not that they were assassins.
No, they go there with it. I think that's kind of the part. It's like this guy's this complete recluse socially. With nothing against recluses, but I don't know. I know what they were trying to do, and I can understand how it'd be like a little creepy. I'm not like pro the relationship. I just thought that they tiptoed along like this guy never having anyone to ever care about, and that was the whole point. And they did it in a non-traditional way.
You have anything to say about The Professional?
No, I've never seen the movie. Okay. But our guy Luke is on marriage number 5 at the moment.
Yeah.
So I don't know if it worked out with the little girl.
When did she graduate? Okay. What I really wanted to bring you on for. Did you see Martha Stewart? She's going to be on the SI swimsuit cover. She's 81. Am I ageist for being like, I'm kind of caught in a weird spot here because I want to say she shouldn't get to cut to the front of the line, right? This is about working your way up to the cover. But she's also 81. Where do you stand on this, Ryan?
I just think it's what content is doing now. It's so competitive. And then all of a sudden it's like, no, you have to be down with this. It's like when somebody will try to say like, Helen Mirren's the sexiest woman alive. You're like, she's doing pretty good. But I think that's a high ranking.
Russillo, Mirren, not the hottest woman alive.
Yeah, not the hottest woman alive. Breakout video. Very attractive, fun, dynamic actor, a lot of range.
Yeah.
But no. So I think this is kind of what content is becoming now, where, the swimsuit issue back in the day, like that was a real thing. It was the most stolen issue from like every library around the country. When it showed up at the house, it was like, ooh, and then it would like get a little bit more risky. That stuff can't compete with anything anymore.
No, we were also horny kids. So I think that we're also speaking from a different place.
What's the cover that comes to your mind?
Was there a gal named Petra Nemkova? She had an orange bikini on. Yeah, nothing in particular, but maybe that one.
Tyra Banks.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, Reed, real quick, before we get in the NBA, who else do you want to see on the cover? I know this is your demo. I know you're like a dead actress guy, but this is like a borderline.
Let's get Jane Fonda.
Yeah.
Jane Fonda needs to be on the front of every magazine ever.
Okay.
Wonderful actress, wonderful woman, I'm sure.
How about Jerry from Succession? Yeah. We had a guy at the talent show the other day say that was his Hear Me Out. So maybe we get Jerry on the SI cover. No spoilers, Ryan. I'm 2 episodes behind.
Jerry Seinfeld?
No, from fucking Succession. Jerry's
gotten hotter every season.
Yeah,
agreed.
Dude. Okay. All right. All right, Rye, rank the NBA coaching openings, and I don't want to like bury Doc Rivers here, but if you were an up and coming, if you were JJ Redick, and you're looking at Phoenix, Milwaukee, or Philadelphia, where do you want to work and why?
Okay, if you're going those 3, Milwaukee's the top of the list because I still like their star better than anyone else's star. You've already proven that you can do it. This Miami run is incredible. It's not what I expected, but I mean, there's going to be a footnote to this where no one's ever going to remember that Giannis played basically half the minutes that they should have played. It doesn't mean they're supposed to blow game 4 and game 5, but I think Milwaukee still finds a way to get through that if Giannis is playing every game. I don't think that's a ridiculous statement. And with Durant, as much as I love the game, he doesn't play enough. It happened again this year. And the distant third, it's not even third. Like if I had enough juice for interviews with the other 2, I wouldn't even interview with Philadelphia because of Harden. So Milwaukee 1, Phoenix 2, Philly 3. Yeah,
the Harden thing. And surprising you didn't say Phoenix, but Chris Paul is a free agent? Or are they going to trade him?
No.
You think they could trade?
No, he still has. Yeah. I mean, he could get traded. There's a lot of stuff that's out there. Look, he wasn't good this year and he got hurt again. So he's $30 million on the books for them. The weird thing is they have such little depth and so little flexibility that, he could still, he still has some value in a diminished role from what he was the previous 2 years. So, Phoenix is closer to Milwaukee, but the Philly one with Harden and, Embiid's now going to enter the doubt stretch, right? Like welcome to the club. Where now it is on, now you were going to be doubted. Now none of your regular season numbers matter at all. Because in the past, I always felt like, all right, I just think there's certain players where it's like, are you not getting out of the first or second round because of you, or are you just kind of not getting out of the first or second round? And I do think that both categories have plenty of players in them, probably more players in the category of like, we just never really got out. It's not like a complete, negative knock on like who I am as a player. I think that list is actually a little bit shorter, but Embiid now it's going to be in that group, and look, he was terrible in game 7. And when it was time to fight, those guys quit, man. And it's like, oh, here we go. So yeah, I think there's some real questions about that being your core group as opposed to Milwaukee and Phoenix.
Yeah. Is it fair to say like, I'm watching that series and I'm thinking like, yeah, Embiid's the MVP, it's a regular season award, but I'm watching the playoffs and I'm thinking there's a few more guys that seem more valuable when you just watch the series play out. Like Jason Tatum, to me, I know how deep they are, but like that guy was the best player on the court.
Yeah, look, we always have to I have moments where I'm watching. Look, this is my second year with a vote. I voted for Embiid. I really struggled with it. It was Jokic for much of the year. And then I had kind of this Giannis phase. And then I just felt like Embiid finished strong to the point where it was still really tough for me. So if somebody else had voted for either Jokic or Giannis, it wasn't one of those differences where I'd be like, I can't believe you're doing that with some of the other votes you see. And there was even part of me was like, do you have this right? The problem for Embiid, and this isn't even his fault, but it was the people that like, look, man, most people just don't watch the other games. I think NBA fans are are cooling away because there's some real hardcore league pass people, but I don't think that's a huge number of people. It's not the same as the NFL where it's just on Sunday and you've got a fantasy team, you've got a little parlay going, and it's just a little bit easier product to consume. So I think what's happened with this Jokic run is that there's a lot of people who are like, oh, wow, he is kind of nasty, isn't he? You know, and it was weird too, because Jokic he's been kind of in this group of players where, is it really on him that he hasn't gotten deeper in the playoffs?
Yeah.
Not really. I didn't feel that way about him. Maybe it was the defense. I don't think he's really been asked to defend or been exposed the way that I've seen him in other playoff series. We could see that because I think LeBron's smart enough to try to at least, give it a shot here. But the point for Embiid is that a lot of the negativity that's coming his way is by his own doing and being awful in Game 7. But there was a real, and people can always come at me for this being like, oh, whatever. Like, hey, man, I swam in these waters for like 7 months now. Okay. Especially as a voter and seeing all the stuff that was out there. And the problem is that anyone that thought Jokic was on Embiid's level, there was a large portion of people, specifically from Philadelphia, that thought you were the dumbest fucking basketball person in the world for even suggesting Jokic was at that dude's level. And one guy's home and the other guy looks like the best player in the world.
Yeah.
So, it was always a more reasonable conversation. It's just that some people turned it into something that was completely unreasonable, which was also inaccurate.
With the Warriors, man, I heard Steve Kerr say this after the game. This was not a championship team. And yeah, it sounds obvious, but it also sounds like kind of like going back on coach speak, because I'm sure he's not saying that in the huddle. And this is kind of the same team, right? Like you can't.
Have you ever had that happen where like week 12, somebody goes, "Hey, we're not good."
No, but football coaches aren't allowed to do that. Like they have to act like they're detached from reality the whole way through. And like maybe that could be the case with them, but they just won a championship. The team didn't change that much. Maybe you could tell me how it did, but. Deconstruct the Warriors now. Is this going to be a deconstruction, or is it, a bump in the road for them? Is that dynasty kind of breaking up?
The safe money, the smart money would be on that it's over. I don't think we truly know the answer to that until it's actually happened and been a couple of years removed. I just don't. The tax situation for them is absurd. So if they keep everybody, and they'll make some tweaks, but if they were to go back in and roll it back with all these guys, re-sign Draymond to whatever his player option number is, like $27 million. If they did that, their tax bill would be more than any other team's payroll. So not just their payroll being more than everybody, their tax bill, because there's basically repeater penalties. Like if you keep paying the tax, if you pay it the next year, the tax could be the same, but it's even worse because of the repeater penalty. Pretty self-explanatory. So their tax bill, I think, is like $250 million. So as much as Joe Lacob has been a really aggressive owner and he's been true to his word about like, I'm not going to lose talent just because of money. It's really, I don't know one owner that's ever gone in that league and said, hey, what are we, like a 45-win team? Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'll pay a $250 million tax bill. So it feels like it's over. They tried to rebuild while they were competing for championships, which is just even harder than rebuilding. And they weren't able to do it. They're 3 lottery picks. They don't even have a real rotation guy out of that group. Wiseman's gone. Kuminga does get off the bench. Moody gets spot minutes in certain matchups. So that plan, which is really hard to execute, which you thought, because they're one of the better front offices, get at least one guy to bridge it, is not going to happen. So, I think they could still tweak it maybe in 2 years, where maybe they have to take the medicine a little bit to try to figure out a way to financially on a season, but Curry's still good enough that we're talking about a team that should still make the playoffs. So they're in a really weird spot. It feels like it's over, but I wouldn't say like over in the sense that Curry now, it is impossible for him to ever win another ring. Because I think we were saying the same stuff about LeBron around Cleveland time.
Yeah.
Part 2.
Yeah, and Clay, right? Clay wants money. Draymond probably opts out. I mean, the pool deal hasn't been good. Right. So there's a lot.
Well, the extension kicks in. Yeah. I mean, they're going to be paying 70 to 80 million in Clay and Jordan Poole.
Oh my God.
Combined. Yeah.
How about the remaining coaches? How would you rank those guys? 1 through 4.
I suppose in his own group, he's at his own level. I don't really know that I could separate the rest of the guys. I mean, everybody's in love with Darvin Ham. A month ago, that nobody thought he was any good, and that was unfair. I think Mike Malone's okay,
Yeah.
And Missoula. This team is really talented. Like, they're the most talented team, I think, in Boston. They're the deepest team. I think they have the most options they can throw at you. But it was such a bad stretch at the end of the season. And so many, and the other thing I always kind of point out with coaching is that, for the most part, I would say 99% of us have no idea what's actually really happening. Like, that might be an overstatement, right? But very few of us are watching going, oh, that's what the play was, or that's what the help rule was, or this is what they're trying to do, or whatever. I think it's a very small number of people that can do that. And I'm not even saying I can do it all the time. All right. So this is not like some sort of self-promotional thing here. So what happens is, when a coach doesn't call a timeout and then they don't score, then it's like, oh, this coach sucks. Because it's easy for you to be like, well, I would have called a timeout. Like, you can be like, here's the thing. Because most of us can't be like, how come they're not helping off the center line there? Or how come they're doubling here? How come they're like, we're so results driven with it, where when Missoula doesn't call timeouts, even though I like them not calling timeouts, because it doesn't give you a chance to set your defense against an inbounds. It doesn't have everybody go over everything again. I like it in the moment. The problem is they weren't scoring in a bunch of them. So then Missoula's an idiot because of it. But he made a really big time adjustment going with the double bigs again, which I could understand why he didn't want to do it, because he didn't want to clog up the paint. He wanted to get Embiid out of there and have him only be able to defend Horford. But what it actually did is clogged it up for Philly and kind of changed that series. And, you got the shooting performance that you got from the main two guys in Game 7. So it wasn't just the adjustment there. So I like what Missoula's done. I like coaches that can relate to their players and get into it with them. And that's, I think, what Darvin is really good at. Malone, has had this thing steady. It feels like it's peaking in the right time, but nobody is Spoelstra. No one is that guy. He is anybody that tells you their favorite coach is better than that guy's lying to themselves.
That series went 7 last year, 4-point game in Miami that Boston wins. Boston's better. Miami's not better. How is Miami competitive? How can Miami win that series? Can Miami win that series?
I really, look, I didn't get it last year. I've got a couple Heat friends who were like, you're on like year whatever with this. We're like, I don't see it. And then Jimmy Butler, if he hits that three, they're playing for an NBA championship against Golden State last year, which would have been so fitting for that series, because I'm watching it going, how is this 7 games? How is this 7 games? Because I am a bit of a talent snob. Like, all right, who are your 2 best guys when it comes down to it? Is the second best guy good enough to carry the number 1 guy when the number 1 guy doesn't have it? And that's what you thought you were going to get with Phoenix. That's what we've seen with some of these other teams. But I also need to kind of remind myself that, for 10 years, we had all the best teams had like a third awesome guy.
Yeah.
And it's just not really the case anymore. Everybody was always searching. Like, even when the Lakers won the bubble championship, it was, well, who can they flip for, the third guy? Because that's what you need. It's like, we don't really need one if nobody else has one. And now we don't really have that as much. So I like Boston's 2 guys better than Miami's 2 guys. Jimmy Butler, if you look at the numbers, I think he was in the 40% from 3. He was 11% from 3 against the Knicks. So I don't know if he burn himself out. I don't know if it's the ankle injury. I mean, they humiliated the Knicks. Tibbs, who I think is one of the smartest basketball people I've ever talked to, they looked like they weren't prepared for some of that stuff. So there's going to be moments where I think Spoelstra, I don't know if it's catching them off guard. Like, they're going to put a ton of pressure on Jaylen Brown because they learned last year that he has a hard time dribbling, freestyle dribbling. They're going to double Tatum, then they're not going to double Tatum. They're going to ignore somebody from time to time. But their rotation is really short. Kevin Love's playing real minutes for him.
Yeah.
Duncan Robinson was basically looked like he was missing, and now they need him to play real minutes. And I like Caleb Martin, but the Hornets moved on from him, which was a mistake, because Caleb Martin's really good, and I'm so impressed with him all the time. So I know there's like a Heat culture, and they found a way, and hey, you've doubted them for 2 years and they're back in the finals again. I just do not see it from it. Like, you'd only be picking them because you just feel something in your gut, because there's nothing that I would watch on the screen based on how deep Boston is in comparison to them and what Boston was able to do getting through that Philly series. I do not see it. But again, I didn't see I didn't see the Heat here anyway. So, maybe you shouldn't listen to me.
What's the best chance that we have for the Celtics to not win the championship? Is it Denver?
Denver or LA. Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean,
either one
Anthony
can beat
Davis. Yeah. Look, Anthony Davis being really good Anthony Davis again is really the secret to this. As much as we can talk about the trade deadline, none of those guys have even really solidified themselves as like major core guys. I mean, D'Angelo Russell can go off one night, and then another night you'd be like, what's he even doing out there? Vanderbilt's kind of hit or miss depending on the matchup. Rui, who was huge in some of the Memphis games, is an afterthought against Golden State. This has all been about Anthony Davis not only dominating the paint defensively, but being somebody you can feel like can carry you a bit offensively as well. And LeBron, I don't know how he does it, man. It's so impressive. The force that he played with. I think Golden State was a lot easier as that series went along because there was just not much they could do to hold up against them. So, yeah, I think the Lakers are still in this one to win the whole thing. And that just feels shocking. But then I always have to remind myself of the Anthony Davis factor. Like, hey, this is why everybody loved this guy so much, because when he actually does play, he makes this big of an impact, as we already saw 2 years ago.
Well, this team
feels,
I'm not the expert here, but this team feels like it's better than the team that won in the bubble. Is it deeper? Is it like comparing the Lakers team from
they added Austin Reeves?
I mean, yeah, they all of a sudden got
his bicep
white
still
guy.
bruised. Yeah.
Yeah, they had Kuzma. Remember, Rondo turned into fucking Ray Allen in the playoffs.
Yeah, he did.
Like, it was the craziest thing. You're like, wait, Rondo's going to just make every three now?
Yeah.
And, I mean, he was huge for them in that. And, look, you also go, I know this sounds familiar, that Miami team that was in the finals, that wasn't some great team.
Yeah, right, exactly.
So when they went up against them, I was like, all right, well, they should be able to take care of this one. And they did.
That might have been what kind of has that screwed up in my head. If it was that they beat Miami. Like, it was like I did fall into the trap of, hey, the bubble championship, and then they beat Miami, who, as you put it, not a great team. Who could the Knicks add? Because this was the first time in a while that I got real excited, and just because Jalen feels like a real guy. I mean, like when Julius Randle was there, as much as I like him, and he was like the number one option for them over the last couple of years, I was like, Brunson's exciting. Who could they add to get over the hump, realistically?
Well, honestly, it feels like for the first time in forever, they're really positioned for the next mad guy to want to go there because they've got a couple young guys that you could flip. They have all their picks. They have like 4 other picks in the next 7 or 9 years, but I don't know, how likely it is that they get all 4. Because like the weird thing about some of these future firsts, like if you don't get it after a certain number of years, if it's protected, then it conveys because the pick has to come due at some point and it turns into like a second rounder.
Yeah.
So the Knicks have at least the rights to a lot of picks, including their own. And Jalen has surpassed any expectation. Like I always liked him. I didn't like him this much. I mean, this is nuts.
Who could have predicted this?
I don't know who would have predicted him to be at this level. So the Randall part, though, is really frustrating because watching him closely, like I got kind of bored with this series. Like one Saturday afternoon, it oddly enough just put me in a bad mood. I don't know why that was. And it wasn't because the Heat won. Like I'm not emotionally distraught on Heat outcomes, despite my doubt in them. But I was like, you know what I'm going to do? I'm just going to watch Randall. I really want to dig into Randall for a quarter. And it was so bad, guys, after a quarter, I couldn't stop watching it. And then I was tracking like the entire game. And I was always respectful of like, hey, a big guy who can shoot a little, can put it on the deck, can drive, who played every game. I think I even voted him 3rd team All-NBA because he played 1 million games this year. I ended up really not liking him after that Heat game because I was like, this dude, like if he's not involved, he is checked out. And then I was like, is he hurt? And then I was like, nope, there's a loose ball and a chance for 2 points. It turned to Usain Bolt. And then he was like, nah, I'm out. Mm-hmm. And then he wouldn't get back on D. I mean, how about that pass that he had at the end of, well, maybe it was in the second half of the elimination game where he just like threw it on top of Brunson's head. Like there's just a bunch of little plays in there with Randall where I wouldn't have noticed if I was watching the game. Like I was losing track of the score, only watching Randall, and I was bummed out. And I'm not even related to him.
I'm pretty sure of that. But yeah, no, again, Brunson just changes the whole deal for me. And you mentioned the young guys. So yeah, they
have options. Look, I'd love to give you a name. I think Minnesota's going to hang. Like the theory was always that they go after Mitchell or Towns or Booker. This Kentucky/Louisville thing. There's a guy on the Knicks staff who was heavily involved with all of them. They're going to bring in Leon Rose because it's DA ties. You're going to the number of times where teams have brought in somebody who was an agent who's going to have all these players that are going to want to pick them in free agency, or there's going to be this coach, like the hit rate on that has to be like less than 5%.
Yeah.
And so, the Booker situation got a lot better quicker when Chris Paul showed up. I think Minnesota would want to just give it a full year with a healthy Towns. Even though Towns' name gets floated out all the time, I still think they should have made the Mitchell deal, and they could have done it even with the RJ Barrett contract if they wanted to. But I don't think they really thought that Cleveland was in the mix enough to threaten them, so they were going to wait it out, and then Cleveland rolled in. And I know Knicks fans probably look at, I think Knicks fans look at Mitchell now going like, whatever. I'm like, dude, he's like first team All-NBA.
That guy's a beast. Yeah. I would love it if he was in New York.
Well, it's not going to happen, I don't think, anytime soon now that they just made those.
No.
But I can't give you the name, because that's the funny part about this league is there is somebody who we're not even thinking about who's going to be so mad in the beginning of July. He's going to hear a rumor. He may not like somebody who's, I don't know. It's going to happen because it always happens. And the Knicks are actually a real attractive spot. It's a team that got the shit together, and they have a special player in Brunson. So I don't know that was always the case before.
Okay. Well, you're in Chicago for the lottery. I assume,
combine.
With that first. Is it the combine?
Both.
Is it both?
Yeah.
Both are there? It's kind of nice how they do that. So Ryan doesn't miss anything. What are you most excited about, dude? Like when you touch down in Chicago with all this going on, is it just a different kind of year because of the Wembanyama thing? Like, is the buzz different? What do you love doing when you're there?
It's funny because there's so many teams I don't think deserve them. Which is really easy to say because you go, well, yeah, they're all bad teams. Like, what did you want? Yeah, but even San Antonio, which is probably the best basketball place for him to go, I'm like, I don't know that they deserve to get Duncan and then this guy like 24 years later.
Yeah.
Like that seems unfair.
Yeah,
right?
It might be. Yeah.
Where would you place him if you could?
What's your favorite location?
I kind of would like to see him with Detroit's backcourt because I still have a lot of Cade Cunningham stock. I think Ivy's going to be good, even though my dude Wiseman is there now and they have like 6 centers. I just want somewhere. I want him to go somewhere where like he's already so special offensively. And I do have our guys too big for their own bodies. Apparently, dude, he measured at 7'5", flat-footed. So all those NBA measurements over the years, that was always in sneakers. So like every guy that was like 6'7" was really like 6'5", and a half, 6'7". Yeah. So that, I don't know why they did it. That's what they did for years and years and years. Maybe it just looked cooler. Wembanyama is the first dude I've ever heard people trying to like say he's shorter.
Yeah.
Because the in shoes measurement with him, like it's going to be nuts. And you have to take him because he is that special already. But I do think younger guys, especially that their movement is almost too big, or their movement is like too perimeter oriented. It's like creating a guy in a video game where it's like no body, like, and I mean, the physical body is not meant to be this big and then be crossing guys over and step back threes and all these different things. And I think we've seen some injuries that would back up this theory. No one I've shared it with has gone, hey, that's a really good point. Because the point is everybody's still taking him one. And it's not even debatable because he is the best prospect since LeBron, but he's not a better prospect than LeBron because LeBron, from a body standpoint, was NBA ready day one. And you weren't going, oh, my God, is he actually too tall long term? So, yeah, I think that's the excitement part of it. Houston, who knows? That would be a massive wake up call to all the young guys that they've been drafting. I bet you the Rockets players are probably rooting against them getting the number 1 pick.
That's wild.
You could make a play for like the LaMelo Charlotte thing where it'd be like, man, look at all these lobs and it's going to be awesome.
Orlando?
I want to get crazy.
9%.
I'd love to get crazy.
9%.
I'd love.
Shout out Kevin Clark.
Cerruti.
Yeah. And
Mr. Magic.
Yeah.
Magic Steve.
Okay. Where does the NBA not want him to go? What's the last place? New Orleans, Toronto, OKC might be the place. Chicago, Dallas. Dallas would be kind of cheating too, because then you could pair him with Luka. Utah, Washington, Indiana, Orlando, Portland, Charlotte, and the teams we've already mentioned.
I don't know. Portland isn't giving off real NBA destination vibes lately.
No. No.
I don't think there's a lot of NBA guys that roll in through there on the road and be like, dude, I could see chilling in this city for a decade.
Yeah, you're right. But the NBA, from like a market standpoint, there's a couple on here that are real duds.
There's some real duds.
It's fucking. I almost want to see it. I want to see Wembanyama. I want to see like.
Think how exciting though it is to be one of the fan bases that really has a shot at this, and you're like, dude, you are 24 hours away from like your next 10 years being completely different, or next 6 if you still stink and he demands a trade.
Yeah, no, I mean, like kids in those cities, you have no idea what rides on tonight's lottery thing.
And anyone that's had access to him loves him too.
Yeah,
loves him.
Yeah,
like, and Bill and I were talking about it. He's like, when is somebody going to pull an Eli again?
Mm-hmm.
It's like, when is somebody going to go, yeah, sorry. What Stevie franchise was like, I'm not going to Asia. They're like, no, it's Vancouver.
And then, no, he didn't go to, it was Marbury who went to Asia and put Vaseline all over himself.
I'm making a Stevie Francis joke, but he was just like, no.
Yeah.
And there was a generation years ago, I guess they'd never spent any time in Toronto, but they were like, I do not want to play in Canada. I mean, and that's why Vancouver ended up becoming the Grizzlies.
Steve Francis did indeed play in China. So he eventually ended up
later on, he had less options.
I liked Steve Francis for a Terp. Okay.
Oh, as a Terp, that was filthy. That was like the nastiest playground guy ever.
Yeah. Who,
none of those guys ever worked like, and then he's put on a Maryland jersey and it's on.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh my God, it actually worked. It worked here. And he was a fun player to watch in college.
I really did I like Juan Dixon. I like Lonnie Baxter. I even looked like
Joe Smith.
I like the angry coach.
Gary Williams.
Okay.
The angriest coach.
Yeah. I mean, he looked pretty unhappy.
Hey, Rye, as long as we're talking college hoops, how about, Brogdon, Hauser, Trey Murphy, DeAndre Hunter? I mean, we're the new breeding ground for tomorrow's NBA stars.
Yeah.
It's a factory. It's an absolute factory.
Yep.
What's going on with DeAndre Hunter? Do you think it's Trae Young, Macon?
Yeah.
Can he be a little better?
Yeah.
All right.
No, it is Trae Young.
It's Trae Young.
It is Trae Young.
Okay.
It's your kid's favorite player.
Who's Waylon's favorite player, dude? Actually, it might be Brunson now, dude, which is great development because he wore number 11 with the Knicks this winter for VABA, which is some acronym for kids basketball. And he was wearing it the whole series. He was wearing his jersey. I told him Jalen Brunson follows me on IG, so there's a good chance maybe he'll come on the show. And now I feel like I'm married to it. And Waylon has like questions he wants to ask him and come into work that day. So
that's cool. That is really cool. Yeah, the Trae Young phase. But when he got into trouble during the Trae Young phase, would he say, I just want to keep it in house, Dad?
Yeah, pretty much. Pretty much. By the way, Rye, Life Advise segment we have here. We're not going to do the segment, but I would like some advice. I did yesterday run my kids in the driveway for the first time. 7 and 4, is it too early to run your kids, to condition your kids?
No, because the funniest thing about, I still like to go to a lot of youth sports in the area if it's around.
Mm-hmm.
I'll just check it out. Yeah, I mean, they've only come.
No, it's actually really fun, dude. Like high school sports is so imperfect. It's great. College is too.
I'm talking about. I'm talking about the youngest guys.
Yeah.
And then you'll just see a kid and be like, this kid's never run in his life.
Yeah.
He's dying going to first base.
Yeah. Little league baseball is fun, though. And I want my kid to be able to run, Mariah, but I don't want my kid to be a pushover. I want him to be in good shape, hard worker, that sort of thing. Waylon did good.
Get him laying bricks.
Yeah.
Get him laying bricks this summer, a little masonry.
Okay. So we've got the I'm Him draft. It is here. I hope you guys are prepared. How
many deep do we go?
I think we'll go 5.
Sounds good. I'm ready then.
Yeah. And I'll probably sign some free agents as well.
Ryan, you drew the first pick, and it's going to be snake style. Ryan first, then Macon, then Chris.
That's great, because I was afraid my first pick was going to be gone. Is this it? This is it.
So
the first pick in the He's him or I'm him? Does it matter?
I'm
him.
I'm him.
I'm him.
I will take Ubaldo Jimenez.
Oh, that's good. He's got it in his name.
Okay.
Unbelievable
With a J.
couple seasons there with the Rockies.
Okay. Good pick. That's a good pick.
He was unhittable. That's not many Rockies guys off the old.
Especially with the
mound.
air being thin there.
That's what I'm saying, right? But it was weird. Like I have a Ubaldo Jimenez rule. Because at one point the first half of the season, they're like, he's the best pitcher in baseball. Like, we got to do this more than 3 months before you get that belt. To me, it's like a full season, maybe a little playoff success, and then a second season. Baseball is a little different with the playoff thing. But you got to do like 2 full seasons end to end for me to say, okay, you've got the belt. And Ubaldo Jimenez, they all freaked out. Second half, it wasn't as good. Again, decent splits on the hits, innings pitched. So he went to Baltimore, pitched for like a decade and couldn't get any, like a 70 ERAs last year there. But he was him in Colorado.
This is the best bit ever.
With the second overall pick
Baseball carrying Ryen Russillo
in the I'm Him draft, I'm going to take Waldo from Where's Waldo? Let me explain. All right. Everybody's always looking for the guy, right? And you can't find him. Then eventually you find him, and he's like, yeah, that's right. I'm him. You found me. Turn the page. You're in for something new. You know how Steve Jobs, he always wore the same outfit every day. Waldo doesn't have to think about that sort of shit. And there's several books. And, he is him. All eyes on you. Always delivers. Consistent. And
I think that concludes.
good. He's good.
All right, Chris, you got 2 picks.
Yeah. I'll take Jesus
Fuck.
and DeAndre Hopkins tearing D'Angelo Hall's Achilles. Now, with respect to D'Angelo Hall, who's a great guy and was a great player, he is a Hokie. This was first day in pads. You guys have seen this thing. Where they're mic'd up and DeAndre Hopkins out there doing one-on-one. So the pent-up energy. In all seriousness, if I had seen this happen to a teammate, I might need to give him a few weeks. Like, it was D-Hop, and I think he was against Culliver, the D-back for the now Commanders. And he dropped the ball. Guys are talking shit. He's walking back to the line, and D'Angelo Hall puts his hands on him. He's like, you do that shit to me, inaudible. And DeAndre Hopkins said, well, I fear God, man, which was like I was like, man, that's cool.
Pick.
That's cool.
Yeah.
And then the next rep, it's D Hall and it's D Hop, and he shakes him down, ends up on his back, tore his Achilles. D Hop, I'm him. He was a rookie.
Did you pick Jesus or DeAndre Hopkins?
I had both because of a snake draft.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. You
Boy,
thought
that's
you
an
were
that's
confused.
an interesting depth chart. You know what though? I kind of like both picks.
You got to
If we go
respect.
third, we can get Jesus and DeAndre Hopkins.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Well, Jesus definitely not a reach, but maybe D Hop.
You understand the Waldo thing? All eyes on him?
Yeah, sure.
Everybody's searching for
I'm him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Over here
All right. Okay. With my
by
second
the
pick.
shed
That's Marco Polo.
So look, there was a
for ears.
there was a court date and time. The time was 11 a.m. Guy didn't show up, so they went looking for him. Right?
Sounds like a joke. Is it?
Okay, it's not a joke. And so he gets into his buddy's car. His buddy's driving, and he's like hiding in the back, you know. And then they're on like a 60-mile low-speed car chase. Takes a few hours. And so the guy you're looking for, I'm him. Without any shadow of a doubt. I don't show up for the court appearance. I hide in the back of my buddy's car.
Bronco?
It's a white Bronco. It's O.J. Simpson. It's the juice. I am him.
Yeah.
I am admitting to the crime.
Oh, got it. Except that when he got in court, he said, if the glove don't fit, you must have quit.
Oh, yeah. Then it got out of control. But there is no...
How can a guy who pleaded innocent be him?
I'm him. That act. That, hey, AC, let's go. Let's get out of here. And then I want to go home and call mom before they they take me away for the rest of my life. That's I am him.
It does reek of guilt.
Yes. O.J. Simpson.
All right, Ryan, you got 2 picks here.
I didn't have him on my board. Okay. I'm going to go with Moses Malone.
Fo.
That's good.
Yeah, I mean, just one of my all-time favorites, probably number 2 behind Barkley all-time. Actually had a Mitchell and Ness jersey delivered, was going to maybe wear it to a festival with one Chris Long, who's the only guy that I would probably ever wear a jersey with at this point. But it showed up, it was like some special diamond edition, and I'm like, I can't be rocking this. And the thing is, despite my, the Celtics Sixers emotions of the last couple of weeks, after seeing the Ben Simmons post, I almost wanted the Sixers to win. Like, if I had known that was going to be the Ben Simmons post, that guy who can't even get into a game, trying to talk shit, the guy's losing. He just posted a picture of the Sixers watching that game and losing, and he posted a picture of it at his nice house. Like, imagine the brain activity for that guy to go, hey, here's a good idea. I don't even fucking play. Like, I haven't played in like 3 years.
Yeah.
But I'm going to talk shit to these guys who just lost the game 7. Granted, they were bad, but after I saw that post, I was like, actually, if the Sixers had won, I don't even know if I would have felt bad.
I couldn't read the room if it was
couldn't
an
read.
audio
Well, there's
book.
no one in the room. Again, we're not knocking guys that hang out by themselves in nice houses. All right.
Oh, that's a humble brag.
Yeah. All right. What do we got here? Okay. I didn't expect it might be a reach.
Ubaldo went 1.
Yeah,
1,
you're
so.
good.
I'm going to go with Chris Rab himself.
Who?
Macon got it. I like those videos. They're fun. My younger brothers really like them.
Rab himself?
Yeah.
Why? He's just using the draft as a fucking toilet.
Why not? Wait a minute. No.
Chris Rab. I liked O.J. Simpson better.
The OJ's one's the worst pick. There's nothing I could do.
You haven't been in some other draft.
I'm him. I did it.
I get it.
I'm him.
Anything you have to explain that much, though, might be tough. Imagine it on a graphic, the breakout.
Ryan's not even attempting to explain Chris Rab.
No, I don't know who Chris Rab is.
That's his name. Reed, you want to help out here?
Yeah, those of us who would have seen, Viva La Bam circa 2006, might know this gentleman. Bam Margera put him up to a lot of antics.
Who's up next?
Makes
I am, but you understand he evaded the police for several hours.
Chris Rab.
No, O.J. Simpson.
Yeah, I get it, dude. We're fast.
Like, you can't say I'm him any louder.
Yeah, no, I got it.
Okay.
I got it.
All right. I'm going to go.
But you're picking a guy everyone hates.
Yeah, so it's going to be a hard sell.
Okay. All right. Okay.
Although, I can see your draft board, what you prioritize. You always want guys that others are looking for.
Right.
I've been zinning out of control today.
You got it. Okay.
Uvaldo Zinmenez.
Hey.
He's him.
That's next week. Jackie
He
Robinson.
was good. Uvaldo Jimenez was good.
Jackie Robinson
In Colorado.
Okay. Here's a guy who said, enough with your racism.
Yeah.
You got a color barrier. I'm going to break through it. I am him.
Did you prep for this draft?
Yeah. It's all right here. Just wait. A lot of value in the later rounds.
Okay.
You don't like Jackie Robinson?
Go to 6 then. We should go to 6.
Sure.
Since we're having so much
Go
fun.
to 7.
Like
Chris,
the
you got 2
NFL.
picks.
Jackie
Okay.
Robinson, the number 42 is retired by every club.
I feel like I'm going to get made fun of because these are serious picks.
Mo Vaughn
no,
could
I know
keep
Jackie
wearing
Robinson.
it because it was a grandfather situation. Like, if you're still wearing it now, you can keep wearing it.
Yeah. Okay.
Another Mo Rivera.
Inner
Love to
Sandman.
wear it.
Okay. I'll go Forrest Gump, the whole movie.
Wow.
Whole movie.
Ugh.
He had
Holy
so
shit.
many
You
on
don't
him.
like The Professional?
No, but what did he do? Did he run across the country? Did he fucking win the national championship at Alabama? Did he go to a Black Panther party? No.
Saved a life.
Did he save Lieutenant Dan? Yeah, well, no, but he saved that little girl and then kind of dated her. Okay.
Didn't make that hooker feel good about herself.
Okay. Forrest Gump and LeBron in the 2008 playoffs against the Detroit Pistons.
Nice.
Okay. He scored 25 straight points. In all seriousness, Ryan, I was trying
2007.
to think. Oh, 07. Yeah, I was going off my school year, I guess.
Sorry.
Oh, yeah, I fucked it up. That was my school year. 07. I was living in the Meat Mansion, had a giant 80-pound TV, had to wheel it around. I'm watching LeBron, and I'm thinking to myself, like, holy shit. Watching before my eyes, like, grown men that play in one of the most competitive leagues in the world, like, he took their respect. And they were the toughest guys, too, Detroit. And I just felt like that was the moment. Yeah, you could say the chase down block, where you could say the game 6 against Celtics.
Boston, yep.
But I think this was the moment you were like, okay, we've been waiting for somebody to compare Jordan to. Like, this is going to be the guy.
That's a great pick. Seriously, I was at my 10-year reunion and I left because I wanted to see it. Remember, Rasheed kept guaranteeing they were going to win the next game, and then they didn't, and he just went right through them. I count him as a half a ring for even getting to the finals with that Cleveland
Seriously,
team.
Dude. It's almost,
That's a half a ring.
Yeah.
Makes
They did have Big Z. How many Cavaliers from that team can you name? Big Z, the guy from East St. Louis, Larry Hughes. There was Eric Snow was not on that team, was he?
There's a Damon.
Long hair Brazilian guy, Anderson Varejao.
You can name a lot, dude.
How many?
Daniel Marshall's the one you want to name.
Okay. Yeah, no, that's kind of where I finish. But anyways, your pick.
No, remember the pass?
right. LeBron was criticized for passing to Danielle, who missed the game winner.
Yep. That was the book on him.
So
Too selfish, or selfless, actually.
Too selfless, right?
Yeah.
And then somebody shit on him for passing out of a game-winning shot in the All-Star game once. Like they did that on Monday. They came back on Monday. It was like, what does this say about his clutch genes?
Jesus Christ.
It's funny because like LeBron's been around so long, and I know that the resume for him, like there's so much about it that I've absolutely loved that I almost feel guilty criticizing any of it 20 years later. But yeah, there's been some moments where you're like, all right, we don't need to visit those now because I think it's a good pick. It's a good pick. And I like the specificity of it as well.
Makes has one pick here first, Ryan.
No. I'm just prepping myself. Thank you for the alert.
Okay, I'm going to take you back to Atlanta, Georgia, the 96 Olympics, okay? So there's the Magnificent Seven, and then, oh no, Russia's going to actually win. This is an I'm her moment. Carrie Strug. She under-rotates on her first attempt.
Yeah.
And then Bella Caroli comes out and he's like, hey, Carrie, if you don't jump again, the Russians are going to win. Well, she runs out there, she jumps, she lands it, and then famously, hops back onto her good leg. Rest is history. The U.S. wins the gold over the Russians. Carrie Strug, I'm her.
Okay.
That was cool. I could never forget that.
Was that a good pick, Ryan?
Yeah, I had it on my board, but I thought I could maybe sign as a street free agent.
Yeah.
All right, I got two picks here. Give me Bill Russell, 10-0 in Game 7s.
Nice.
Boardman.
Chew on that one for a while. And then we're going to go one of my favorite books, Jack Johnson. You want to talk about being a black heavyweight champ in this country at the time that he did it. They started creating laws to ruin his fucking life. He basically left the country, and then the second half of his career was essentially destroyed. And he was the most in-your-face athlete at a time where, for someone like him, it would have been the worst to be in your face about it. And he backed it all up. So he's an incredible story. And I think good value there late in the round.
And he did bubbly toes. Saw him last week at the Hollywood Bowl.
That's funny. All right. Jesse Owens. So Hitler, we're going to go to the 36 games now. Hitler, who
was Dan's. Was it Dan's pick last and not him?
First overall, I
it
think.
was a pretty good pick.
he's choreographed these whole games to be like, hey, Aryan Nation sort of thing. Well,
imagine how much he would hate the NBA.
Oh, I mean, well, Phil Jackson basically. Anyways,
so Jesse Owens wins 4 gold medals.
Way.
Okay, 100-meter,
yeah,
the 200-meter, the long jump,
yeah.
the 4x100 relay, and then he's running around the track with the German guy who came in second one of these races.
Yeah.
Hitler had to have been pissed.
Yeah.
Jesse Owens, he's like, I came to your event and I won all of the things.
Pretty easy to piss Hitler off, though. He's mad at everybody and everything. Okay, is it my turn?
Until that.
Yeah, we're going 6 rounds.
Yeah, just
Then
keep
you got
going.
2
Yeah.
picks.
Yeah.
Okay. Jon Snow. Everybody was like, is he dead for like 8 months? Is he dead? Is he really him? Because there was a buildup of like, I think he's him. And then he dies and it's like, did Massandra help him? Is he going to be okay? And then season opens. He's alive.
But Bran ultimately is the winner, yeah?
Right. But it was like, Jon Snow was
Boring.
Yeah, no one wants Bran. But the other one would be Fight Club. The gun's not in your hand; it's in my hand. Is that the quote? He was quite literally him. Tyler Durden, the whole thing blew my mind.
That's a really good pick.
Thank you, I appreciate it.
We're still going here.
Yep, you got one more.
One more? Oh shit!
Snake draft.
Yeah, dude.
Okay, Kevin Spacey as Kaiser Soze.
Fuck! You took. I forgot to pick it.
From the limp to the walk.
Yes.
I am him. He was
Yeah,
him.
that's
Nice pick.
fucking.
Thank you. Thanks everybody. Thanks, Rye.
Is that it?
Mr.
No, he's
Irrelevant
got-
from Ryan.
He's got one. He's trying to see who else was on that Rockies staff to bookend.
I'm gonna take the "You're not that guy, pal. Trust me, you're not that guy."
Yeah,
guy from the grocery store.
That's a great guy.
Oh, that is good.
That's a great guy. Love that guy.
That is good.
I think I can plug and play in a lot of different ways.
On my board was the Sword and the Stone guy, Truman walking out of the dome, Chung Lee getting beat up by Van Damme, Iverson crossing up Jordan. I should have picked that. Odell Beckham's
carry.
catch, and then Chaz Bono.
Yeah, okay. I had, say what you will, George W. Bush firing that strike October-ish, 2001. We just had the September 11th.
Who's
attack.
gonna fuck up the rest of your young adult life?
Sure.
I'm him.
Say what you will. But he was on the rubber. He wasn't in front of the mound.
Yeah.
Put it right in there. Boise running back. Did like the Statue of Liberty thing, then went and proposed to his girlfriend. That was fun.
You don't want to get married at a sporting event. I don't care if you just won the damn championship. You don't want to do that.
Buster Douglas. Michael Jordan, generally.
Ernest Shackleton.
Kirk Gibson.
Ernest Shackleton.
Home run. All right, that's my board.
Okay.
Ryan.
Right, good draft, man.
Yeah, Ernest Shackleton.
Okay. Who is Ernest Shackleton? No one knows.
You guys
What was his ERA?
never read about Shackleton?
Oh, no. Is he going to do a thing?
I could hear that. You guys never Shackleton's Adventure, the Antarctica?
No,
You guys don't know anything about this?
no, I don't. No, he went to Antarctica.
Shipwrecked. Fucking guy was unbelievable. I was reading about his interview process the other day to kind of like, hire out the rest of the crew for the boat. And he would just be like, I like the way you look. You're the meteorologist. Boom. Yeah.
You would have been the
I just-
crab fisherman.
Look, 1700s, 1800s, early 1900s, there was not a lot out there for men who had an image of themselves to be one of these people that we're actually talking about now. So like, you guys from France just jumping ship and being like, maybe I can win a war. and then the rest of my life will be amazing. Shackleton was like, I got to be famous somehow. I got to figure out a way. He married into money. So he was like, I need to do something to be famous. And he bought a boat and he crashed.
That was like the 1860s YouTube,
It
like
was
a way to get on the map. Hey, Rod, before I let you go, I want to ask you one question. Were you criticizing the way we field our softball team on Twitter when you saw that we have LeGarrette Blount, or were you excited that LeGarrette Blount was on the field?
No, that was me being the worst guy who I'm actually not
on Twitter
of like just trying to figure out what is the worst way to comment on you guys mashing in a local softball team, which I think is great. I love that you guys are doing it. I love guys having any kind of camaraderie later on in life. I respect it. I don't participate, but
have you tried fellowship?
He hopes to have some someday.
I hope to have some someday. So I loved it, but then I thought, I know, but I was just trying to, every now and then when you post something, because we're buds, I'll just go like, what would the worst person say? Yeah. What would the worst person say to you guys matching home runs in a softball game? So I just went with like, I'm sure the rest of the fucking community loves these pro athletes showing up and ruining their softball life.
Somebody, we're only 4-4 or whatever we are.
They're 500. They're going to miss the playoffs.
Hey, we could beat Ceramico Tile tomorrow.
I don't think so.
Actually, that is funny because somebody was like asking what their record is.
Yeah, well, here was the best comment, and I actually answered the guy, but the guy was like, well, that, the really good softball hitters don't hit home runs. They hit it off the fence, and so I'm not impressed. And I was like, well, what the fuck do you want me to do? Okay? I hit it off the fence, too. All right.
Hey, Rye.
I remember the first men's league I played in Vermont, so I was like mid-20s. And I think I actually wasn't even supposed to play in it. I think it was supposed to be 30 and over. So there was already a little edge, but the bar that I bartended at sponsored the team. And so they were like, do you want to be on the team? I was like, yeah, I want to be on the team. And I want to take it really seriously. And they were like, all right, you have to take him. So I think there was some sort of thing that had happened. And so I remember the first game, I went like opposite field and I could hear a guy from my own bench go, I hope that doesn't go out. I was mad about it for like 2 hours and I'm trotting around the bases. I'm going, these guys are that mad because I'm a little bit younger, even though my bar pays. And I'm like, fuck these guys. And like, I was pissed. I was stewing over it the whole time. I wasn't really talking to anybody. And then I realized they were like, okay, you guys are out of home runs. They were saying they hoped it didn't go out because it was going to be a solo shot and there was a home run limit because of the fence. So I was like, oh, all right. These guys are my buds now. It's all triples from here on out.
I don't know the rules yet.
Yeah, right. But I'm listening to one of my own teammates on the first at bat of my first game. No, I don't think it must have been later because I don't think I didn't hit a home run on first at bat. I hit a triple.
Yeah, that would have been fucking cool.
Like, no, I hit a triple because I remember they were like, okay, wait, we have a fast guy. Like, what's going on? And it was like, no, he's just not 30. But I remember the first game then, later on, I was like trotting because I knew it was gone. And again, it wasn't like it's fucking softball and the fences weren't deep at all. And I remember hearing a guy go like, oh, I hope that doesn't go out. And I was like, what the fuck? Fuck these guys. And I didn't know the rules.
You can trot around the bases in your league because in our league, they don't let you.
Oh yeah, that was big. The trots were awesome.
Oh yeah. Well, we don't trot.
Did you know the most popular airport in India is called Mumbai? And then secondly, do you think my face looks any rounder? Like when you picture my face in your head and then you see me right now, do you think it looks rounder right now?
I do. I wasn't going to say anything.
Check out his sideburns.
But I was a little slower to start because I was like, who's the round guy?
Who's the round guy with burn sides?
I'm going to work on this. I'm going to work on all of it.
All right, Rye. Well, appreciate your time. Enjoy the combine. Please text us as soon as you know how tall Wemby is.
All right, sounds good.
Hey, start tweeting like Reese Beekman, step slow, like really no lift, can't shoot, etc. Be good.
Maybe like love the way Grady Dick shades his outside foot.
Yeah. Poor ankle flexion on Beekman. Mm-hmm. Beekman could use one more year in college.
They're doing some really good shoulder lean on the way he comes off those pin downs.
I don't think he's picking it up. We don't want Reese Beekman
I understand.
to go to the NBA.
Yeah.
How about Reese Beekman, bag of cocaine?
Yeah.
Okay. Take care, Rye.
Bye, Ryan.
So what I did is I took some boomers, like had a I was out solo, okay, which Dad took issue with. Dad's like, you can't be out kayaking alone. What if you hit your head? So to that,
Little
I
did
said,
he know you were tripping Billy.
I said, why don't you go with me? And then to that, he was like, I'm not going with you. I'm like, okay, so you're not that worried about
He's
it.
a city boy.
He's a city boy. So so this Saturday morning I had intermittently fasted. Do you guys ever intermittently fast?
Where
Yeah.
I don't eat sometimes, yeah.
Well, no, it's not like
You take like 14 hours off and you eat what you want for 10 hours.
So basically, you eat dinner kind of early, then you don't eat anything till noon the next day.
Ah.
So I had done this that day. I wasn't at all at noon thinking about taking
That might amplify your day. And you never got your lunch at the dairy market. I just
Never
realized.
got my lunch at the dairy market. I was
You were in
working
a full fast.
I was working in a caloric deficit. My body's just attacking.
You
the
were in
fat cells.
ketosis.
I was in ketosis. So I get to the river. I'm like, I got to make haste. I pull a big cap out. I weigh it on my little scale, which is I'm weighing it on the side of my truck, and I'm like, it's probably 1.7, something like that. Like it's going to be a good day.
That'll do it.
But also it's the cap. So
Yeah.
like I think the cap
What's the
has
di-
More,
What's the
more
difference?
potent, for sure.
cap's more potent than the stem. So if you weigh a stem and the cap and the stem weigh the same amount, the cap's probably going to get you a little bit more close.
Got it.
For comparison's sake, I took a gram of stem and was out of my mind a few weeks ago.
So yeah, your boy, caloric deficit at all, hops on the river. I'm floating along, get down to these big rapids. It's been 45 minutes. I'm feeling good. I blow a big joint down. I'm sitting there in the rapids. The water's high now because it's been raining.
Yeah.
And Kyle, when I tell you, like usually Reed's been with me, I can have fun and still function on the river. I can get through the rapids. I know where to go. I'm sitting there for 45 minutes and I'm thinking, I got to make it to dinner here in 2.5 hours. Like I cannot, the trees, when I tell you,
It was like the final episode of Beef where they were out in the desert, like just trying to figure out how to get back to civilization.
Kyle, I've never seen Beef, but I would imagine were they all tripping balls?
Oh, they were.
In the middle of the rapids.
They ate the wrong cactus or something.
So I ate the wrong cactus, but I'm sitting there and Kyle, the trees, the way to describe it, some of you at home know what it looks like, but slinky, like a Jack in the Box that like moves like a snake. Like all the trees are like Jack in the Boxes. They're all bright green and they have little faces. I'm not lying to you, Kyle. They have little faces. They have like a little green dot where the eyes are and a green line where the mouth is, and they're all just waving at me. And I'm in my head. I swear to you, I have a voice in my head. Kyle, swear to you.
They would have burned you at the stake.
I had a
couple hundred years
voice
ago.
in my head that said, this is what you wanted, isn't it? You wanted to be alone?
Yeah.
Here you are.
Yeah. Which is
And when I
scary.
tell you, I'm like, who the fuck is that? and I'm just like having are you, sometimes if you trip and you're under a little bit of stress, which I have been, you can really have some hard conversations with yourself. And these combos just start. And I'm like spinning and my music's on shuffle. I can still hear it over the fucking, and some gospel comes on, Kyle.
Oh, man.
And I swear to you, Kyle, the clouds broke and I looked up in the sky and I'm like, okay, maybe God's coming. Let me look for God. And all I'm seeing is like geometric. And I'm like, fuck this. Okay.
Fractals.
I'm like, good try again later.
Yeah.
Like I need to worry about how to get down the river now. So I was tripping so bad that I took the easy way to the left. Like I never take the easy way. There was big water over here. I took the easy way. So I'm floating down the river now and I'm still just like, I'm like, how am I going to get dinner? I need to stop again. I'm starting to feel. So I get up to these other rapids, in the middle where the railroad ties are and it looks like big dinosaur land.
Yeah.
There's this majestic rock, like probably 10 feet wide, 15 feet deep. And the water, the undertow's strong. I can't pull my kayak up to it. And I'm like, man, if I miss this, I'm not going to have a place to stop for a while. So I'm like inching around the side of it and I'm trying to find a good handle for it. And I get around the side and there's a dead pool of water. It's just the water stops and I'm all of a sudden it's still. And I reach out for the rock and my shuffle comes on and it's Plastic Jesus by the Flaming Lips, Kyle. It's about a dashboard Jesus. And I promise you that rock was the most majestic thing I had ever seen. It was like a sanctuary for me. It was like a port in a storm. And as I put my hand on that rock and Dashboard Jesus came on, the sun came out again, Kyle.
And he came.
Swear to you. No, God didn't show up.
She came.
Kyle, I just started laughing. So you need to visit this rock with me. You want to see the rock?
Yeah.
Okay.
Show me a picture on your earthly
The rock of
device.
Gibraltar, I believe. I have to read a little bit. But here it is, Kyle. Here's
Oh, wow.
the hand of a sinner
It's a
clutching a rock.
beautiful rock.
It's a
actually.
gorgeous rock, dude. This thing was
Fabulous.
like, Kyle,
Chris, there's a golf course.
Kyle, look at this rock.
There's a golf. Yeah, it's fabulous.
And like, first of all, like you're getting therapy on the river, your mood's lifted. Like that's
Yeah.
awesome that you're able to do that. And that little voice in your head that started talking to you, I feel like that's there all the time. We just constantly push it away.
Because you're
We're
not
on
present.
Instagram.
Yeah, exactly. And there's like real therapeutic elements of psilocybin that are documented, and I think you experienced those.
I think that psilocybin is like it's like the phone on the sideline. And if you want to talk to the press box, you got to get on the phone.
The red phone.
Yeah. And I'm just telling you, like in my experience, when I've had a unintentionally, whoa, that I'm tripping. Like that was what it was. I didn't set out to have this experience.
You just picked up the phone.
I just was like, they were like, somebody wants to talk to you on the red phone. And I picked up the red phone.
Go down to the river.
I swear to you, Kyle, I actually texted somebody and was like, hey, I think I had my moment, dude. I'm telling you, man, Dashboard Jesus, I'm getting one. I went on Amazon.
Do you have any pamphlets?
Amazon Prime. No, I'm not a pamphlet guy. I'm not a guy with a sign that's yelling at people outside of a strip club or outside of a
they're at all
casino.
kind of places.
That's not my problem.
Okay.
That's not how my
Not my Jesus.
situation is set up. The way my situation is set up is I just let a lot of things go because there's somebody else.
But it's not my, it's thy.
Whatever you want to say, Kyle.
That's what it's all about. Thy will be done.
Kyle, the
not
clouds,
my will
clouds
be done.
broke. It wasn't sunny all day. It was sunny twice.
That's what they say.
It was sunny when the Truthettes and the Flaming Lips played. That was it.
On earth as it is in heaven.
So no more Jesus admins.
What?
Well, I don't know. We're walking a fine line there,
Pro Jesus.
Are you guys creating idols, false idols?
My mind is open, okay? So don't be DMing me, be like, come to my church.
Where do you stand on
Fellowship's
Calvinism?
important. I'm not into fellowship,
Where do
okay?
you stand on Calvinism and the Protestant Revolution?
The Protestant Revolution
Was
and
that at the same
Calvinism.
time?
Fuck that John Calvin.
Yeah,
Not
John
everything's
Calvin-
predetermined.
Didn't he write? Wasn't he the guy that was like the 99 Theses?
That's
Martin Luther.
So Martin Luther,
Yeah.
he fucking nailed rules to somebody's door.
Yeah.
It was like,
Martin Luther was
these are the fucking rules.
he was the first
was a
neighborhood like HOA guy.
Yeah.
He was the first HOA guy. He was like,
and I picture one
This
of
is
those
how it's
nails
getting done here.
with like a square back to it. That
For
he hits,
sure,
like
dude.
A square back nail.
That's the Cliff's Notes on the Protestant Reformation. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So I'm not a sign guy. I'm not a pamphlet guy. I'm not a judgment guy. I'm pretty much a like, hey, he's got it. Hey, can you pull up the 10 Commandments? I want to see if I'm doing a good job of them. Yeah, I actually have notes from my float. God was a little geometric for my liking, but I think I could do it. These are notes I take
That's wild.
sitting on my phone. You should have no other gods before me. Well, not a lot of competition for your boy here, so check. Number 2, you shall not make idols. Do I make idols?
Not of other
No.
Okay, good.
deities.
I don't do.
Ye shall not take the name of the Lord.
Okay,
your
number
God
3,
in
you should not
vain.
take the name of the Lord your God in vain. I got to cut that out.
Oh my gosh.
Remember the Sabbath day to keep it holy. So what do I have to do there?
You can't work on Sunday anymore.
And you have to.
Oh shoot, we can find a loophole, right? What about Dan Orlovsky, dude?
We got to call Dan. Why don't you call Dan and tell him this is, you found Jesus. How do you make it work?
You guys.
I might honestly, but also
You guys are
Dan,
conning the Lord.
Dan,
now.
how about the? No, I'm not. I'm trying to work through this.
Okay.
The 4th commandment, Dan. What do I do about that? Happens to be that we
Honor your father and your mother is the
honor.
fifth
Okay, I do
commandment.
that. I honor my mom and
Shall
my
not
dad. I don't murder.
Adultery, you're good.
Boy, the Ramirez
Stealing.
twins fucked up 5 and 6. You shall not commit adultery. I'm pretty good at that. Not committing adultery. Shall not steal.
There's no stealing in softball.
Watch out for that 8th commandment from when you were a kid and you stole all my money and buried it in the backyard. But the good thing about Jesus is he forgives. Number 9, you shall not bear false witness against your neighbor. So don't lie about people, right?
Yeah.
You shall not covet.
That's tough.
What, like you just...
You can't want.
That's going to be the hard part. Would he want anything?
That's my interpretation. Like, want what other people have.
Listen, I think I'm going to be okay here. I'm just telling you. So no God. You don't believe in God.
I don't think so.
I was like you last week.
What
Something
changed?
Something changed. So I went to the river Saturday,
Uh-huh.
and I'll keep it brief.
All right, well, can you find God if you have psilocybin in your system?
So my theory is that it's like the red phone on the sidelines. Like God's in the press box. Here's how you talk to him. It's psilocybin.
Got it.
And yeah, I think it can help. Yeah, I think I'm with the Jesus, man.
Now, Jesus, that's where it gets complicated. He's the Son of God, yeah?
Yeah, but like maybe he's like, hey, just so you know, like you don't have to get on, on the God thing right now, but just know that there is one.
Hey,
He's my dad.
I had a good Bible joke the other day.
No, I don't do those
I
anymore.
lost it. Okay, well, good for you. I mean, I think
It was crazy. It was like divine intervention.
like you saw God,
No, I didn't see God.
like an energy. Did you feel God's energy?
Yeah, dude. Yeah.
Did you see anything?
Yeah, geometric patterns in the sky. But that was God's first pass.
No, that was the boomers.
No, God made 2 passes.
Okay.
Okay. How do you explain all the things that I talked about earlier that you didn't hear? How do you explain those things?
The Big Bang.
Nope, not the Big Bang. Just talking about my shuffle. Spotify shuffle twice.
How do I explain your Spotify shuffle?
Yeah, twice being like, hey, let me give you a God song right this minute when you need it most. And the sun comes out. It's been cloudy all day. 90% chance of rain all day.
Had you uttered the word God on the river?
No, but was kind of having a conversation with myself about like just everything. Yeah.
Okay. Well, maybe Spotify heard you say that because our devices are listening.
So you think
It's AI,
that
it's not
Master's
God.
Call by Marty Robbins is queued up to me in my brain, talking to myself in my brain, having a mental dialogue.
If Johnny Cash, God's Gonna Cut You Down, had popped on and then you drowned in the river, I'd listen to you.
That's good.
This I'm not so sure about.
Really?
But I'm happy for you.
Yeah,
Maybe I believe. Well, do I believe in God? Like, I don't understand the question. I don't believe in the question.
Well, I'm not really like, I was just getting a baseline for where you were before I told you.
Okay. It's a tough one, man. It's a mighty tough one.
Yeah.
God. So like God is the one who's like looking down and he has a nice list and a naughty list.
See, I don't believe in all that. I have a setup, just like everybody else has their own setup. Here's the thing about, you're thinking about Santa Claus.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Okay.
But he's in the North Pole, not the sky.
Yeah.
Except on Christmas. Perpetually the whole time.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
Okay, so that's not your God thing.
No, my God thing is more just like, hey, don't worry about anybody else because we're not judging anybody, okay?
Oh.
And then, it's like, hey, buddy, you having a hard time? Here, let me put my arm around you.
Oh, I can get down with that.
And I'm working on everybody else too, but just don't worry about those people. Worry about you and just trust in me.
We asked Kyle and Howie earlier, would they go on the river? Are you a river man? Do you have a kayaking trip in your future?
When I was a wee boy, I actually went to a camp where we did a bunch of kayaking. It was called Passages. It was in Richmond, Virginia, down there by Hollywood Cemetery where there are real rapids, that sort of thing.
Games.
So I kind of like kayaking. Here's the thing. I've got some body image issues. So I would love to be able to, take the shirt off, sun's out, guns out sort of thing. But I was in my office today. 2 colleagues were talking about how white my outfit was. Specifically like a khaki pant into a dark sock into a Sperry. And, I kind of said, what are you guys talking about? And they said, well, we're talking about how white your outfit is. And I was like, well, actually, these pants are made by Nike, all right? And then they began to remark on how tight the pants are. And then so I was like, I was doing a little bendy thing to kind of show my cake, in the back, And they're like, yeah. But then a third colleague from across the hallway says something that makes everybody else laugh. So I'm like, hey, what'd you say? And they're like, oh, I can't tell you. I'm like, nah, what'd you say? Like, what'd you see? What'd you say? What'd you say? Come on, I'm really trying to get it out of her. Well, it turns out that she remarked that I have an overhang, to which I said, what's an overhang? And apparently she was talking about a love handle. Like I've let my weight get a little out of control. The lack of fitness is making itself evident. And I copped to it. I
saw a little overhang in my shirt the other day. I had a heather gray shirt on, and I saw an outline of an overhang.
So I was talking on my cell phone, most of the day, just doing laps around the office, the whole time, trying to drop some of this weight. So to answer your question, Reed, I'm not going on the river until I can get back into some sort of shape.
Hey, dude, listen.
Wear long sleeves.
I wear a T-shirt every day on the river. I'm like on the river shirtless. That's like your 20s. We're well into our 30s. And it's all about those lightweight hoodies with fish on them. You just look like you know how to fish, and you wear it, and it keeps the sun off you.
Hood up over the hat, protect the neck.
Yep.
Okay, that doesn't sound so bad.
Yeah,
dude, I catch no
hoodies.
sun. I catch no rays, bro.
Okay. All right. Well, then, I'm in.
Really?
Yeah.
You want to go this weekend?
This weekend's looking pretty good, actually. Yeah.
Good.
Like Sunday?
This Sunday's looking pretty good. That's the 21st of May. Yeah. It's looking pretty good.
Look at the weather. I'll look at the weather.
Okay, you look at the weather.
Y'all are going to have a wonderful Sabbath.
Oh,
Point remains.
hold on a minute, player.
Point remains. I got to do some exercise.
81 and partly sunny.
Wow.
Kayak's great exercise. Move your arms.
Where do I get one of these lightweight?
I got one for you.
Wow.
Fit you perfect.
Is it yours?
It's mine. But
Fit me perfect?
yeah,
I'm kind of like a
You're tall.
smaller cat. That's
I know.
true.
I'm a little wide for it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. It's blue.
Oh,
Gorgeous.
I love blue. Mm-hmm. I was talking about favorite colors with my daughter, and I said mine are blue and shockingly now green a little bit.
Really?
And gray. Yeah.
Welcome to the green's beautiful. Waylon's an orange guy.
Oh.
Yeah.
She had to pick out a bike, went orange.
Yeah, it's cool. It's kind of a cool color. Now that they mention it.
Yeah.
Sunday we'll be on the river.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Who all will be there?
Well, probably Tom.
Yeah.
Probably Kevin.
Yeah.
Probably Reed and Matt, maybe.
Yeah. Okay.
Especially if you go, I bet you these guys will go.
Yeah. What a
I'm not
motley
trying to
crew.
manipulate the situation. Would y'all not want to miss that?
Yeah.
Reed had some great plans Sunday.
Do I have a paddle? Do I have a paddle?
We can get you a paddle. Actually, I was
paddle
going to
for
run
you.
over. Great Outdoor Provisions is having a kayak sale.
I'll be damned.
I was planning on picking up a kayak, but if it's for your, return to the river, you can have the maiden voyage in the kayak I pick out.
Oh, I wouldn't dream of it.
Reed.
I would, cowboy.
I would
Wouldn't
love
dream of it. Thank you, though. It's a very nice offer.
Do you
I'll
have
be-
a kayak?
Do I have a kayak?
You might have one by Sunday.
Do I have a kayak?
If after
No, I don't
we
have
get
a
out of the
kayak.
river, consider it like an official visit. If you commit to this university, I will give you my blue kayak.
Wow.
That's right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, if I had a kayak, I'd be like a kayak guy.
Yeah, dude.
Kayak's a palindrome. Like go,
Yeah, got it.
go hang a salami. I'm a lasagna hog is also a palindrome. Okay.
Great one.
Yeah. Thanks. But hey, maybe the whole river thing, because I burn really easily anyway. Maybe that was just a way for me to ease into the hey, I'm overweight thing.
Yeah.
And I just wanted to tell you guys.
Well, no, I knew what you were doing with it, and I'm glad you brought it up.
Okay.
And we have a panacea for that.
Okay.
It's called kayaking.
You burn calories?
Oh, you burn them. You don't even know you're burning them.
Okay.
Hello.
Now,
Oven's on.
Now, this coworker who said I had an overhang, she has not only been forgiven, she has been thanked.
Yeah, she
because
should
I haven't stopped thinking about the word overhang all day. I did 10 push-ups in my office. I told you about the walking, and I've eaten clean today. Well, but I am wearing a tight pant, so maybe in a different pant, a higher waisted pant, maybe.
They're just like
looking normal.
Yeah.
And the thing is, I'm not putting on a lot of weight, so I'm just like other parts of my body are atrophying while I'm adding to the waistline.
Are we still doing a chocolate cake?
Yeah. I eat chocolate cake every night.
Hey, I'm starting to feel old, man.
How so?
I don't know. Sometimes I'm just looking at myself like, God damn, you're getting old. Like my hands are like old guy hands.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I still have little baby boy fingers.
Yeah,
here.
you got hands that are like like you've been wearing a white glove your whole life.
Thank you.
Fucking holding a candle at church.
Yeah.
Ringing the bell.
Damn it.
Yeah.
Ringing handbells.
The handbell.
I'm in the handbell choir.
Handbell ringing hand ass boy. But I'm fucking. My hands are getting old.
Yeah, that's why you're seeing God.
No, that's not it. I think I saw God because he was like, "Hey man, you just check this shit out, okay? All right, okay. So, anyways, back to the main.
You're feeling
thing.
old.
Well, I'm feeling old, man. My fucking energy is lower. I might, this nicotine's keeping me standing all day. Last night I was in the back of my pickup truck, couldn't really jump down. You're just like, I don't want to, just jump off it and land on 2 feet.
Yeah,
like
I don't risk those things anymore.
Like, you're like, what? I'm like, what am I?
Yeah, I worry about Achilles these days.
Achilles.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that would be a big bummer. 9 months because I want to play pickup basketball.
Right.
That won't happen in a kayak.
Yeah.
How's that Kyle tattoo coming?
I think Kyle's trying to push it out of our
suspiciously quiet.
He's, going to Italy. It was interesting. He was very enthusiastic about it, for the week after that it was determined he had to, that was his, losing, that was his punishment. And then he hasn't mentioned it since.
Yeah. So we're going to need to mention that. Okay. And we need to do it in a real professional form with like email trails. Okay. So I need like one of y'all to email and text him, and then I'll kind of shuffle around and have a conversation on the side and just see if the Holy Trinity can't get it done.
Has he talked about y'all are the Holy Trinity?
No, just it was a like callback.
Okay. But are y'all the Holy Trinity?
Well, we are the three closest to the ball.
Are you the Father or the Son or the Holy Ghost?
I'm neither, okay, because these jokes are faux pas now for me. But
I like to think of the Holy Trinity as the Mother, the Daughter, and the Holy Ghost.
So what is the Holy Ghost in relation to what's...
Matt?
The Jesus that rises from the ground.
Got it. Okay. And he's the Jesus is also the Son.
Yeah.
So Jesus is playing
God.
2 roles here.
We're playing 3 roles.
Well, but he's not the Father and the Son.
You're not as up on your theology as you think.
No kidding.
He is an embodiment of God on earth.
He is. Okay.
I don't want to make it a theology pod. I don't want people to start thinking we're just going to be talking about theology out here because I got on the red phone.
Okay. We were just discussing something.
You know what I want to discuss? We were talking about Kyle getting a tattoo.
Has he said what it would be, Yukon related? Would it just be a picture of a dog?
I don't know.
Would you let him get away with a German Shepherd?
No.
Okay.
It's not a husky.
I know. I was just wondering.
So, anyways, Kyle's going to Italy. I wanted to do like kind of a scavenger hunt for him, but like, with points. So kind of more like bingo, maybe. I don't know. What is this?
Might come up in my I'm him, so I can't really discuss further, unfortunately.
Marco Polo.
I can't. That's good.
So,
Marco Polo was Italian.
Marco
Perfect.
Polio.
Polio.
Yikes.
That'd be if he was running for office
Yeah.
and like he was anti-polio vaccine.
Yeah.
His name is Marco
That'd be
Polio.
a great Twitter handle, Marco
Marco
Polio.
Polio.
Yeah.
It's not funny. Some people are still getting it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Are they? I thought we had the vaccine.
We do. Okay. But we also, one day I was going to talk about like dysentery, and
Yeah, why not?
kind of make an Oregon Trail joke. But a lot of people are still getting dysentery.
Bitten by snakes too.
Cholera.
Yeah, it's real. I got to get my cholera vax every time I go to Africa. Okay. So Kyle's going to Italy. And so I want to do this game.
Okay.
What should we put on here? Reed made a little list.
Oh, cowboy.
I want to
Matt
open it up
Reed.
with go to the White Lotus Hotel. That's a big, if you go to the White Lotus Hotel, you get like, I don't know, 20 points or something, or let's say 50 points.
We should give him like a point. Like he has to get like 1,000 points.
Yes.
Or whatever.
And if he
And then
doesn't, we put a
He gets
bar of
2
soap in a
tattoos.
sock and beat the shit out of him when he gets home.
Well,
Because we should do that anyways, because he's abandoning his softball team.
he really is.
how long is he going?
You want to code red?
He's
Kyle?
going to he's going to Cancun early.
Yeah.
Huh?
Huh?
Like 3 weeks.
The remainder of the season. We have Ceramico Tile tomorrow. It's the biggest game of the season.
So, Macon, if you need any tile work done, if you have any clients that need tile work done,
Yeah.
schedule it for.
Will you
call
tomorrow is
Ceramico
late in the
Tile?
day, please.
Smart.
Will you call Ceramico
Yeah,
Tile?
happily.
Well, they're probably closed. It's 5:06.
It
But
might stay open later. Also, Megan, if you were in the softball group chat still, you would see that Chris Podcat sent the number there.
just call them and see if you can do a job. Our game's at 9 p.m. tomorrow. See if a job that the whole team would have to be at, but pays very well. It's for
I'm sorry. What time's your game?
9 p.m.
9 p.m.
Guy from Beijing.
Ceramico Tile.
He only likes
Pays
contractors there at night. Pays cash. Wants you to tile his
Pay
whole.
extra.
This could be bulletin board material, so we really can't walk in a thin
We
line
mentioned it on the last show, but actually doing it is interesting.
there. Beijing, dude.
I didn't hear the Beijing part.
He's
but
only
I'm
here
kinda,
for Tuesday.
Hi, you've reached Ceramico Tile Company. Please leave your name and number, and we'll get back to you as soon as possible. Thank you.
Oh, Ceramico. Hey, goodness. I have an emergency situation tomorrow night, Tuesday the 16th at 9 p.m. This house has 9,000 square feet. There's tile everywhere, and you wouldn't believe it. All of the mortar joints have failed, and there's water pouring out of every single room in the house. So if I could get you Ceramico Tile to this place Tuesday the 16th at 9 p.m.,
The whole company.
the whole company, I really need all hands on deck on this one. That would be terrific. Please hold while I get my associate's phone number. 434-409-2789.
9-9.
2799. Okay. So that's this client is in Beijing, China, and the place is located here in Charlottesville. The client's from Beijing. He wants to FaceTime in to see that everything's being repaired correctly. And I said, fella, I got top people on this. They're at Ceramico Tile. You know, this guy's a big Google reviewer too. He's on the Yelp and Google, and he'll do right by you. He'll do right by. If there's one thing I know, this guy'll do right by you. I said, you want a mortar joint fixed? You call Ceramico Tile Company, and that's Tuesday the 16th. You know, like I said, you call me back at that number, and I'll give you the address. But really, we need everybody there. You know.
And this is his accountant. We'll pay cash.
And they're going to pay cash on the spot. And, this one time, I did a little favor for this guy. I told you he's in Beijing. And did a little favor. He whips out an envelope full of money. I said, by God. And he said, no, I want you to have it. You know, that's just the sort of guy he is. Always looking out for people who are looking out for him. So this is, you wouldn't believe the mess we have on our hands, but I appreciate y'all coming out. Again, that's Ceramico Tile Company at 9 p.m. on Tuesday the 16th. This job will probably last about an hour and a half.
2 hours.
Maybe 2 hours. Probably a 2-hour job. Okay, thanks.
I think, yeah.
Yeah.
I think so.
Okay.
That's good. So we're biggest game of the season tomorrow night.
Yeah,
we're playing Ceramico Tile, maybe.
I mean, would you get if nobody shows, would you get a forfeit win? That'd be a win.
I think so, yeah.
I got a game for you.
Okay.
All right, so I'll give you a quote from something, and then whoever can guess the quote first, I'll give you the question based on the quote.
Okay.
All right, Makes. If you ain't first, you're last.
Is that Talladega Nights?
Yes, sir. Chris, what was your most heartbreaking loss?
Oh, man. Probably playoffs last year, just because I knew it was over. You know, I sat in the locker and cried like a baby. Not like a baby, not like, wah, you know, but like a toddler, like an older toddler that's being quiet about it, but crying. There's water coming out of my eyes.
Sounds like you're crying like a grown man might cry.
A grown man crying. Yeah, that's what it was. Yeah. And it was over, man. And we shouldn't have lost that game.
Well, Makes, you got one?
Oh, yeah. 2016 Elite Eight to Syracuse.
Yep.
We were up 15 with 10 minutes to go, and I, too, cried. I cried my way out of the United Center. Walked the streets of Chicago that night.
Crying.
Yes.
The whole time?
No, not the whole time. But after the game, I was
intermittently crying.
Yeah.
Would you get, did you cry the next day? And somebody's like, what's wrong? And you're like, oh, it comes in waves.
I don't remember. I did drug myself to sleep because I just didn't want to feel any pain anymore.
I thought you might say that game.
Oh, yeah. No, I'll that's way worse than UMBC. Way worse.
Listen to the full podcast on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and other podcast streaming platforms. Wherever you want to get the podcast, you can get the podcast. Pretty simple. New episodes every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more content. Podcasts get pretty wild. This is real tame.